We are working very closely with our Senate partners to get these issues taken care of, so that we can end on time today and not have to have a special session.
As the House Speaker hopes to avoid a special session, lawmakers are getting down to the wire and working up until that midnight deadline. We have just passed the 2-hour mark in the countdown to the end of this legislative session. Tonight, comprehensive coverage where the PFD stands, the future of education funding, and reforms for natural resource policies and crime legislation. But we begin with political reporter Steve Kirch and the big budget items lawmakers are set to vote on soon. We think. Steve.
Beth, as the clock, approaches midnight, one of the big stories developing is that it looks like lawmakers are not going to pass a comprehensive education package, as the governor vetoed one earlier this session. And it looks like lawmakers are going to have to rely on one-time funding for education this session. Now, let's look at some of those notable items. That would mean about $175 million, equal to a $680 per student funding increase to the base student allocation. Now, the governor has hinted he will not veto this funding item. There is also student transportation money, which breaks down to more than $7 million, and more than $5 million to support kindergarten through 3rd grade reading programs. Outside of education, one specific note for Anchorage, there's $4 million to continue homeless shelter operations through the summer. Education funding continues in the capital budget. $68 million to the K-12 University of Alaska for deferred maintenance. After that, there's $30 million for professional housing weatherization, $9.7 million to help with federal grant funding, and $75 million for infrastructure projects across the state. One of the major budget items lawmakers are talking about is $1,650 PFD, which includes an energy relief check.
I'm a full PFDer myself. I believe in statutory formula, but I'm glad that it didn't go as low as what was being talked about, because Alaskans need every dollar they can get right now. So
it's going to be something people can count on. I am concerned about the future of the PFD and what happens if we keep using monies from other funds, which could cause problems in the future.
And I would say it is tragic that we are wasting a bunch of money on a much larger than average historical dividend, and we are underfunding schools, we are underinvesting in childcare, we are underinvesting in housing, we're underinvesting in affordable, reliable energy.
Now, the operating budget and capital budget are one of the last items that the lawmakers take up before the clock hits midnight. Now, as far as the homeschool funding solution goes, lawmakers are still working on this, and we will see if something happens before the clock hits midnight, and that it's something that all parties can agree on. Steve Kirch, Alaska's news source.
All right, touching further on education, lawmakers sending Governor Mike Dunleavy 2 major bills. Supporters say House Bill 230 will bring more experienced teachers to Alaska, as out-of-state teachers would no longer have to limit how many years out-of-state experience they could use to apply toward the state's pay scale. This also includes $5,000 bonuses for nationally certified instructors. Now, House Bill 202 would require all school districts keep at least 2 opioid overdose drug kits and have at least 1 person trained to administer the drug on site at all times. And speaking to the fentanyl crisis, we're still waiting to see if House Bill 66's comprehensive crime package will head to Governor Dunleavy. Supporters, including the governor, say increasing Alaska drug dealer and drug maker sentences if there's an overdose death will target the problem. Opponents say longer sentences will not help get to the root of the issue. And now we're watching following House lawmakers reviewing Senate changes. As for the series of bills supporters had proposed dealing with what they call a future Cook Inlet natural gas crisis, House Bill 50. This is being sent to the governor and includes a new loan program to encourage more natural gas production. At the same time, we're awaiting seeing if the Senate approves House Bill 307, which would send a bill supporters argue will modernize the rail belt's electric grid and eventually say it would lower power bills for Alaskans.